the justice system doesn't apply to them, right? It's mob rule all the way down.
It's a justifiable form of racism that I find offensive and just as troubling as any other form of racism.
Yeah, and when you really listen closely, you can hear the echoes of Ibram Kendi sort of speaking back to you, right? Because Kendi is a person that says the way to solve past discrimination is with present discrimination. And the way to solve present discrimination is with future discrimination, right? And his thinking has informed so much of the ways in which we talk about race in this country that even if people have never read his books, they've still been influenced by his teaching. It's also interesting that, you know, when you brought up the Emmett Till, situation, it makes me think back a couple of years when Justice Brett Kavanaugh was being confirmed for the Supreme Court, and Jamel Hill wrote an article in The Atlantic basically wondering aloud why so many, at least to her, black men seem to be sympathetic to Brett Kavanaugh. And it just, I'm constantly amazed at how little our cultural elites actually know about history. They are so focused on race and gender and identity, right? And so preoccupied with their own navels and gazing at themselves and their own narcissism that they don't take a chance to step back and see how the certain principles travel through time, even when they're applied to different people. Because when she said it, right, and she wondered aloud why so many black men, and again, I don't even know how many she's talking about, but I was thinking to myself, do you know how many black men have been beat up, shot up, strung up, or jammed up on the word of somebody else, whether it's a white woman or white man or anybody, right? Just because they happen to be black. So because they share a similar skin color with someone who may have committed an offense, the justice system doesn't apply to them, right? It's mob rule all the way down. And that's how we got, over 3,500 lynchings, from the end of, emancipation through, from the end of slavery through, the civil rights era, is because, as you said, someone made an allegation. Some other people got inflamed. They grabbed the guy, they strung him up, they hung him, and they said, this is justice. And it's not. And it's not justice regardless of who is on either side of the rope. And I think that's the part that people need to understand. And I know some people will say, oh, you shouldn't make that comparison. But again, that's what happens when you use man as the measuring stick for righteousness. When you use God as the measuring stick for righteousness, you understand that it doesn't matter who's committing the sin, it's still a sin. So God judges impartially, whereas we are completely partial. And as long as the perpetrator and victim have the right skin colors, that right skin color combination, right? If we get those colorways just right, we're more than willing to sacrifice our principles, for the sake of someone's agenda.